Hey, good morning. It's already Tuesday, and well, that was the wrong camera, wasn't it? Whoops, sorry about that. Good morning. Hope you're feeling well as we begin this day together. Around 52 right now. We're going to climb to a high. It's warmer, 80. Still better than it was, isn't it? Now, we do have a 20% chance of showers happening sometime between 11 a.m. this morning to 4 p.m. this afternoon. That's not a big percentage chance, but we do have a chance of rain. Let me show you something that is happening in northwest Mississippi right now as we go to Doc's Toyota Radar. What is this strange green-looking stuff? Well, we've got a thunderstorm that's happening right now. This is just due south of Grenada, and if you're in the Duck Hill community, y'all be ready. This storm's going to be approaching you here in just a little bit as it makes its way across Elliott, Duck Hill, Gore Springs, Sweetman, and also Susie. Those areas there, as you'll see there. Big Creek, Vardaman, Bruce, Mississippi, those areas there has got showers all the way back to Greenville, Mississippi, Holland, Indianola. Those areas getting a little wet this morning. Again, we've also got a little bit of fog in the southwest corner of Mississippi around Macomb this morning. If you're driving south, be cautious in there. Nothing really stirring in Alabama other than some fog right now. And that's how today starts out. A little bit of that wet stuff up there. And again, we don't have a huge amount, but any amount is more than welcome, is it not? Like to be able to rake some leaves, not have to worry about that. Hopefully, we'll have that before long there. Wayne, good morning. Good to see you. Janice is stirring. Bob is up. Sydney joins us there. Miss Charlotte, all the way from Philadelphia, A, is up today. We all had a little car chase up in Neshoba County yesterday. They're still singing that Hank Jr. song, I Fought the Law. The law. Oh, that happened in Lauderdale County last night, too. We got all those stories and more coming up at 7. We've got a bunch of headlines that are shaping America this morning. We're going to get into that in just a moment. But as always, we're going to have a good word from the Lord up above.
In the aftermath of Abram's disobedience to God, in trying to force God's covenantal hand through the birth of Ishmael, the Lord appears to Abram and calls him again to holy living. I am God Almighty, he says. Live in my presence and be blameless. I will multiply you greatly. Throughout these verses in Genesis 17, 1 through 14, God charges Abram with holy, blameless, and obedient living. It's in this passage that God changes Abram's name to Abraham, the father of many nations. He establishes a covenant with Abraham through the rite of circumcision, a physical reminder of God's covenantal promise to Abraham. He reminds Abraham to keep his covenant, not just within himself, but to Abraham's future offspring as well. And what is the reward? Listen to verse 8. And to you and your future offspring I will give the land where you are residing, all the land of Canaan, as a permanent possession, and I will be their God. Indeed, Abraham walked by faith, and his reward was great. He indeed fathered many nations. His offspring eventually took the land of Canaan, and Yahweh, the Lord, was indeed their God. God desires all to walk in obedience with him. He wants those who profess faith in Jesus Christ, the offspring of Abraham, to have integrity, to live blamelessly. And if we have trusted our Lord for salvation and obediently walked in his ways to provide evidence to that salvation, our reward is the same as Abraham's, a promised land as a permanent possession, and a God to rule and reign over us. On Jordan's stormy banks I stand and cast a wishful eye to Canaan's fair and happy land where my possessions lie. I am bound, I am bound, I am bound for the promised land. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that message. Mark Ingram joining us. I see Miss Diane is here also. Miss Nancy Hembry, how are you doing today? I don't believe I ever saw her when I was a teenager that she didn't have a hair out of place. It was always beautiful. I hope you're having a good morning, Miss Nancy. Hope you're doing well. As we start headlines across America, I can remember as a kid, we went to California one time, and I'll never forget this. My sister went to go to the bathroom, and she come back and asked my daddy for a dime, and he said, why? They won't let you in the bathrooms out there. You had to pay to do that. Y'all, Mississippi, you don't have to do that, but apparently that was a thing elsewhere. I see in China now, I'm telling you, this is bad. In order to get toilet paper in a Chinese bathroom, you will have to watch a commercial on the toilet paper dispensary before it gives you toilet paper. Let's hope that trend doesn't come to the United States, but that is happening there. Canada, here's a couple things happening over there. As you well know, Canadians had to give up their firearms. That was taken from them. Now I see to where, and this happened in the last 2 weeks there, they've decided that some landowners, and in Canada, keep in mind, you never own anything. Not that you do in America either, but you get a lease, and you'll get it for 99 years. Well, the government is taking it away because they feel that it was some tribal land, so they're taking everybody's land away from them and giving it to someone else. Now, what happens if your house is on that? First your guns, then your house. There'll be more. Now watch. Canada's got issues up there, and we do not need to have America following along in their footprints. Do y'all remember the lady? This was, I'm not going to use the word lady. Let me back up on that. The woman during the North Carolina problems that they had in the mountains there, when FEMA was on site, and she gave the order that said if they've got a Trump sign in their yard, do not help them. Do y'all remember that? Yep. Guess who got fired this week? She's gone. Did that not take long enough to do that? Here it is. It just, I can't believe there's a place for anything like that in America. It doesn't matter if you've got a Biden, if you've got a Hillary, you're still an American and you deserve help during disasters. She did wrong. It has been corrected, and hopefully there'll be, well, a tagline to where you can't move to another job and without that following you. That's sad. We see a 9-year-old has died in Texas. What happened? Her mother left her in a car. She died of heat. On top of that, the mother took, you know those, what do you call them that you put in your windshield, that silver, the sunshade thing? Yeah. No one could see in the car. The windows were tinted. The little girl died. She's been charged with murder. Here's some statistics that I wanted you to see, or to listen to rather, this morning. Welcome WMOX, by the way. We appreciate y'all joining us there. I know over the last weekend we saw that No Kings thing, and there's some mad people. Now again, depending upon where you looked, I brought these numbers up yesterday. It was anywhere from 5 to 7 million people total that ran to the streets. There was 77 million that voted for him. So that's a small percentage, no matter how the news media tries to portray that. Here's some numbers. Donald J. Trump put this out, and these are actual numbers. You can go back and look them up. Under the FBI and my administration has been doing an incredible job, he says. Since January 20th, more than 28,000 violent criminals have been arrested, with over 6,000 illegal weapons seized. More than 1,700 child predators and 300 human traffickers have been taken off the street. 5,000 innocent children rescued. 2,000 criminal enterprises disrupted. 1,900 kilos of fentanyl, that's enough to kill 125 million people, has been taken out by historic results. He applauds the law enforcement and for what they do. And that's exactly what all of this is as you look at what's going into our cities that have been overrun by crime. We've got gang leaders and, well, people that want to do harm to America running our cities. Often, cities are run by the gangs. They're here to straighten that out, get America back on the right path. And that's my belief. I do believe that. Daylight saving time is coming knocking November the 2nd. We're not far off from that. What, 2 weeks or so? Yeah. Y'all be ready, and it will be dark when you get up and dark when you get home. Kind of depressing, isn't it? And it's not going to change. I would like to give you hope that it's not. It will not change there. Let's see. Have y'all seen, and I'm not going to lie, I cannot lie to you. As George Washington says, I cut down the cherry tree. I laughed. And I laughed a lot. Have y'all seen the AI of the jet airplane with with Trump flying with the king's thing on it? The little crown, and he flies over the people protesting. He drops the manure. It was funny. And that's all it was a funny. Mike Johnson has been cornered, and he was asked about this. And this is what he had to say. He said, You can argue he's probably the most effective person who has ever used social media. And he did answer the question, and I think he's right. I've never seen anybody in the face of when people were running him down how he could take something and twist it, and that's what Mike Johnson had to say about that. He is very clever at doing all of that. As we go to Manhattan, this is sad. Sad, but hopefully this will give a new life to someone. A newborn child was found in a subway station in Midtown Manhattan. Police have found her. She's been taken, and hopefully she'll get to go to a good home. No word if there's surveillance as to who did this, and even if they would prosecute them in a city like that a lot of them that believe in abortion. A child is a valuable, valuable thing, our future, and we hope this child has one now. As I look at polls and statistics this morning, it's a lot of he said, she said. Is it 11 times that they voted on trying to get the government back open?
Something like that.
It's roughly around 11 times. In the beginning, I kept hearing in the news that this was hurting Trump. The poll numbers are out. During this, his numbers are climbing. People see the real reason of what's going on. As I brought up before, the crime that's been taken off the streets of America, the illegal guns, the fentanyl that's been taken off, it's starting to show what good that does, and his numbers are climbing there. This is bad. You ever been hunting during a storm? I have. I've been in a shoot house up against a tree. Make your way out as you can. We had a teen killed in Louisiana by lightning over the weekend when those storms came through. He was struck with lightning and died. How heartbreaking that story is to tell. I won't say it the way this is said in the media because I feel like it's not nice. I'll say that. Do you remember the teenage boy that worked for Doge that they call Big Blank? I'll say it that way. He was beaten in Washington, D.C. Do you remember that? By gang members. I think it was 9 to 11 people that attacked him. They did catch 2, and they were given the lightest sentence I think I've ever seen. A judge done that. Guess who's stepping up to the plate? Y'all remember a lady named Judge Jenny?
Yes.
Judge Jenny says not so fast. She is bringing federal charges to the table now. Justice looks like it may be done. I encourage that. All across America at these point in times, you can look at something and go, do what? How could someone make a decision like that? I think Judge Jenny's going to set the record straight on that. I don't know much about the World Series. I don't watch a lot of baseball, but the Toronto Blue Jays are headed to the World Series and will face the Los Angeles Dodgers. Who are you for on that one there, Odie?
Oh, I don't know. Probably.
Do you go with L.A. because they're from America, and that is that the line?
Have to be the only reason I go for anything from California.
That is happening there. Do you remember this woman, Cincinnati? Let me show you her picture. She is the Cincinnati chief of police. She has been placed on administrative leave. It's paid, as complaint after complaint has come in on her of not leading her department just right. 4 officers have filed complaints, DEI complaints. We'll leave it at that. I won't go into the who, whats, and whys, but she thinks a little bit differently than the rest of us. I've happened to run up on a few people like that in my life. You could have a pie and they wouldn't get it. Anyway, that's happening there in Cincinnati. What else is happening here? I had to watch this video several times, and again, just because of the rights and the way videos are, I'm not going to play it, but it's easy to find. North Carolina, a guy had a Trump sign. Now, again, it doesn't matter who you support in America, in my opinion. That's your right. If you want to put a sign out in your yard that says, I want Ted Kennedy for this, so be it. But an accountant, it bothered him so bad, he passed a house every day. It had a Trump sign. A guy owned a water rafting company, and he had a Trump sign on an old school bus in his yard. The accountant can't take it anymore. Has a sunroof in his car and goes by with his pistol. Pop, 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 pop. Slams on brake, jumps out and rips the Trump sign off. Almost hit the guy. He's going to be charged. That's attempted murder. I don't... Think, America. Think. And I'm only having to speak to a few. Y'all know who I'm speaking to, those that do things like that. The rest of America has sense. It's more people with sense than it is with those without. Trust me, it is. We just sometimes see more of the others. They're louder, aren't they? I do believe that. Let's see here. What else is happening this morning? We had this is a teacher's assistant. It was at, where was this at? The Illinois State University. And it almost goes back to the guy that fired the weapon at the guy who had a sign. Turning Point, USA, Charlie Kirk. I think most Americans, whether you believed in what Charlie did, know who he is. I happen to believe the old boy believed in Jesus Christ and was trying to further Jesus Christ. I liked him. He was murdered senselessly. We had a teacher. They had a turning table, and again, this is the University of Illinois. He had a table set up where they were taking applications, or if you had a question, he comes up, starts yelling at the two people at the table, kicks it, rips the tablecloth off, throws everything on the ground. He's facing charges now of disorderly conduct and criminal damage to property. But you know what? He's still employed where he was. You can't have people that represent your company or your college that do things like this. Now, again, let me back up and say this. If Odie was to go jump on somebody that had a Joe Biden table, it would be the same thing. He would have no right to do that. Am I not right, Odie?
Exactly.
And I don't think Odie would ever do that. He might think something under his breath to keep some distance. But common sense goes a long, long way. I didn't realize this guy was very liberal. John Cusack, am I saying that correct? He's an actor. Let me show you his picture. And this was a big movie, and women loved it, whatever the movie was. Let me show you this. Remember that guy who held up the radio and played the song for the girl? He's been in a lot of movies. John Cusack, is that right?
Yeah, Cusack. Yeah.
Cusack. I think he's a pretty good actor.
Yeah.
He took part of all of these No Kings protests throughout America this weekend. He did a lot of interviews. Just thought you might want to know. We still have 15 bodies that have not been returned from Hamas that were killed in Gaza. Now, do I have the answers? Do they even know where they are? I don't know that. But 15 bodies have not been returned. We do hope that they're found and returned to bodies, to the families. I didn't get that out right, did I? We have two people that lost their lives. Have y'all seen this? To where an airplane was taking off in Hong Kong and it slid off the end of the runway. Two people died in that accident. It plunged into the water. How horrible that is. Let's see here what else is happening today. We have a New York State prison guard that has been found guilty, and he's guilty. They had an inmate that was handcuffed in detention. He whooped on him bad, and the inmate died. He has been found guilty. We'll wait for sentencing to see what happens to him. And it will not be pleasant where he is going, and y'all know that as well as I do. Especially a prison guard now going to jail, it won't be good. Here's something that the Supreme Court, how do you feel about this? Supreme Court now is reviewing if you're a drug user, should you have a firearm? They're reviewing that. I'm not sure which way they'll go on it. I haven't read up enough to know what the court is thinking, but they are reviewing that right now. In Atlanta, at the airport, they're saying that they stopped a possible mass shooting that was going to happen at the airport. They arrested a man. He did have a weapon on him, and he had just told a family member on a phone that he was going in to do something. I'm glad that was stopped, aren't you? We'll be right back as we'll get into your weather forecast this morning. We'll get deeper into this to let you know what's going to happen today. We'll be right back.
For over 40 years, you've been able to count on Watt Equipment in DeKalb, Mississippi. They've got your Massey Ferguson's brand new 23 up to 135 horse cab and air tractors They've got all your hay equipment needs, all your bush hogs. If your tractor needs it, they got it. Also remember, they service all makes and models, whether it's green, orange, blue, red, or yellow. They can get your parts in, they can do your service on your equipment. Don't forget Watt Equipment, DeKalb, Mississippi.
The Scotty Ray Report studio is sponsored by Environment Masters, providing hassle-free heating and cooling, plumbing, and electrical services since 1957, and now serving Meridian homeowners.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA.
And welcome back as we look back at our record highs and lows. Back in 04 today, it was 88 degrees. We'll be 8 away from that. We're hitting a high of 80 today. Back in 76, Burr, first grade I was. It was 29 this morning when we got up. Hubba. That's a major change there. As we look at today's high, we're going to see 77 in Columbus. The rain should taper off north of Oxford if you're going to be in that area. Corniff should see 73 down in Philadelphia. We're going to see 76. Meridian there, that's a 4 degrees change in between Philadelphia and Meridian. We see 76 in Philadelphia, 80 in Meridian. As we go south to Lucedale, 85. We'll see nice weather in Gulfport at 82. Now tonight, our lows are going to be somewhere around 50 in Laurel. Meridian hits 47. As we go north toward that state line, we'll see 43 at the Mississippi-Tennessee line. Whew, that's nice. Natchez will even see the 40s, 49 expected there. As we go east into Alabama today, Demopolis over at the river, we'll see 80. Cooler in Birmingham at 73. And over in Auburn, looks to be 80 degrees is what we'll have. Now, as we look across this, here's the outlook across the U.S. of A. It starts getting warm there about central Texas, all the way through East Texas, through Louisiana and Mississippi. And that's why we're seeing these 80-degree marks today. My, oh my. Here's our 7-day outlook as we pull this up today, as we'll reach, let me back up here, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, 79 to 80 today, what we're expected, down to 47 tonight. And again, that 20% chance of rain will fall between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. this afternoon. Be ready for a shower or sprinkle. By tomorrow, the rain is out, but we'll hit 77 for a high, down to 45 tomorrow night. By Thursday, we bring in 81, still a low in the 40s at night as we head toward the weekend. Pretty good weather there. 81 Friday, 78 on Saturday with a 20% chance of rain. Now, you could get wet on Sunday when you go to church, about a 30% chance there still lingering. Let's go another week into this, all the way through November the 4th is what we have. 79, look at this. We see a 68 on November the 30th, October the 30th, excuse me there. Now, as we get into November, we'll see 72 kicking off there and 40s at nighttime, holding steady there for at least a week. So wintertime, cooler weather is upon us as we look at this. Now, here's what's happening with the fishing forecast today. As you head out to Clarkdale Superette, they got all you need there. A south-south wind, 5 to 15, with gusts getting up to about 20 today. Major times to fish today will be roughly 11:45 to 1:45. You've got a minor time this afternoon at 5 o'clock when you get off to go fishing, and that should last till dark 30. Not bad at all. Let's take a look at deer hunting today. Today is rated as best as we look at our calendar, brought to you by our friends at Wimberley Taxidermy. Again, that wind southwest, 5 to 15, but gusty if you're going to be up a tree, a 20-mile-an-hour gust. It'll blow the tree. Now, major times to fish today, we got to hunt today, 11:45 until 1:45. You've got a time right there at 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock to hunt, but that's right there at dusk dark. Sunrise happening at 7:03 this morning, and sunset rolls in at 6:14 today. Now, what's happening with the tropics? Here's what we got. This is AL98, this storm system, a 90% chance of something happening here, making its way toward Mexico. It should stay out of the way of the Gulf of America is what we're expecting. Now, let's go back and take a look at live radar as we pull this up this morning. Showers in Greenville. We still got a bunch going on there as we cut across all the way to Grenada, Cleveland, these areas, getting showers. West Point, Stark, Vegas. Y'all get ready. You'll get wet. Still, we got this fog growing in the Macomb area. If you're traveling Highway 98, if you're traveling 55 out of New Orleans towards Jackson, you're going to get into some thick fog. Otherwise, it looks pretty good here in East Mississippi. Not bad at all. A few little bit of fog there around Montgomery as you get into Chattanooga, those areas there up through Knoxville. Not as bad as it is most mornings. And we got a little bit of rain showing up in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, if you're trying to get around that big loop. Y'all be careful. Now, again, we're sitting at 6:55. We're going to be back in 2 minutes live with the show. A lot of entertainment for you this morning. Join us, won't you? We'll see you in just a moment.